I don't know how you got started.
I get started.
How many times have you told this story now?
Yeah, it's funny that you should bring it up now because just yesterday I gave a 4-hour seminar at a local community college talking about me and how I got started and what I do. I actually had brought some equipment in and showed them some very rudimentary stuff. It was kind of, I keep getting asked to do seminars for music classes, not film production classes. Although on the 30th, I will be talking to a sound for film class at a different college.
Brilliant, brilliant.
Yeah. It's funny, there's a delay now. You're out of sync.
Oh.
I went to full screen and it all went wacky. Hang on a second.
It's probably my...
Okay, that helped.
Sweet.
So let's see. So, well, I always loved music. And after high school, I went on to college because I really didn't know what I wanted to do for a living, and I figured might as well get a college degree because kind of along the way. At the time, college was affordable, especially in New York, because there's a whole university system called City University of New York that has colleges in all different boroughs. They have community colleges and four-year colleges. I mean, I don't even know how many. There's got to be, well, it's 5 boroughs, got to be at least 15 schools around the city. So, and tuition was very affordable at the time. Anyway, so I went there and I wound up taking film courses, like theory, looking at films, looking at movies. I took a TV production class. I took an audio production class. It was pre-digital. So we were our film production, and I took a film production class where we shot on 16mm black and white film.
Wow.
I mean, on the old Rolex cameras that you had to wind and you had 3.5 minutes.
Wow.
Silence. I wound up taking a film editing class. Anyway, I thought I would start working in music studios as a recording engineer because I love music and I play guitar and bass, but I've never really had the discipline to be a full-time musician and I couldn't afford it. Growing up, I was kind of out on my own early on, so I couldn't practice 8 hours a day. And I guess, didn't have enough incentive at the time. Anyway, I thought I'd work as an engineer and still work in the music field. But then after I graduated college, I wound up getting an internship that was financed by the city. So we actually got a minimum wage stipend. It was really meant for minority students to train them in the technology of film and television. But because it was funded by the city, they couldn't only bring in minority students, so they brought 2 white guys.
Nice.
I was a minority. But anyway, so through that, after that, I wound up working for a video production company, and I was their equipment manager. I was always very technical and very comfortable with equipment. And I wound up working for them, a company called Rebo Associates, and Barry Rebo was very innovative. He was one of the first people to use high-definition video when it was analog, before it was digital, and they lost the bundle on it because it's all like linear. So, I mean, $1 million in equipment. But anyway, I learned a lot of stuff from them. I learned, we would do industrials, and we would do training films, like haircutting training, stuff with CEOs talking to the troops, and then music videos, which was a lot of fun. And we actually had a relationship with Bruce Springsteen, and some people ended up doing some concert stuff, so that was a lot of fun as well. But I was the equipment manager, and then I left after 3 years, and I went up freelancing. And my first job was with German television, and I'd never run a Nagra before. I had only done video, and we're talking 3/4-inch video, 1-inch video. This is before Betacam, before 1/2-inch Betamax. So, I mean, if you look at my resume on IMDb, you can guess my age. I won't go into it here, but I've been doing this for a while. Anyway, they said, can you do film sound? I'm like, sure. So I figured, how hard could it be? It's like you hit record, you turn it to record, press forward. Others are really, really easy. So I was going to say I went home and Googled it, but obviously, the internet, There was no internet even in sight at the time. Very weird to think about. But I don't know if I found a manual. I talked to someone. I really don't know how I did it. But anyway, I went in there and I just threaded it up, and went out and did a few days for them. But that only lasted a few months. I wound working for the BBC, actually.
Wow.
BBC had a New York office, and I would do their Good Morning show with a correspondent named Bob Friend. I don't even know where he is anymore. But it was a lot of fun, and I got to travel with them and did a lot of documentary work for them, and went down to Disney World and went to Lima, Peru. Anyway, through that, I met a cameraman who invited me to a party where I met a sound mixer named Lee Orloff, who's gone on to win, I don't know, he's got 3 Academy Awards now. He's done all the Pirates of the Caribbean. He's done a couple of Terminator films. And then had the first Ninja Turtles from like 20 years ago. Anyway, his resume is really solid. And he asked me if I wanted to boom for him on a movie. I had never been on a film set before. So I said, why not? It was deferred pay. It was like so low budget. It was like no budget.
Yeah.
And, we bunked up with people, had houses, and we're down in New Jersey on the shore. So it was a crazy job. It was 4 weeks, but I'd never been on a film set before. So I learned so much from him. I always considered him my mentor. Then I went on to boom a few jobs for him. But I didn't have the focus of a boom op, or I think I had the upper body strength, but still. So while I was booming for him, I really had always wanted to be a mixer, probably because of my love for music. And after years of doing documentaries, I also worked for 60 Minutes, which is a big broadcast show everyone knows, and a show called 2020. And I did a lot of independent documentary work, stuff for HBO and some other people. But then I wound up doing a short film, a 5-day short film narrative. And that was my first time mixing. It was a total freebie, and I started working for free. And so, listen, I'm a young guy. I have some equipment. I want to get more experience. It's all non-union work way back when. And eventually, Lee Orloff passed me a script for a feature film that nobody else wanted to do, because at the time, this is 1988, they were paying $750 a week flat with equipment. I'm in the right mind, nor would I at this point in my life take it. But I had not done a feature before, and I wanted one on my resume. I wound up doing a lot of short films before that. And it wound up working out really well. I wound up getting the job, and that was my first feature, and went on to win a bunch of awards at Sundance and stuff like that. So it kind of put me on the map a little bit, started to go there. I did a lot of really bad movies, but I did a short film called Scene 6, Take 1 that then got expanded into a feature also, and that was a film called Living in Oblivion with Peter Dinklage, and it's Tom DiCillo's second film. Have you ever seen it?
No.
I highly recommend it. It is all about the travails of an independent film.
Right.
It's really funny, and it's got an awesome cast. Steve Buscemi plays a director of an independent film where everything goes wrong. Everything goes wrong. Catherine Keener is his leading lady. James LaGrosse is his leading man. And if you don't know the names, if you look them all up, you would know all these actors. Dermot Mulroney was the camera guy. Kevin Corrigan was a focus puller. Anyway, it was all these actors have gone on to big things, but it's a really, really funny film. And through that, I met a production manager who had a pilot that the mixer quit or got fired on day one. And that was a Sopranos pilot.
Wow.
Back in 97. So I dropped everything. Fortunately, I was not booked on anything at the time.
Yeah.
It was a 15-day job. Well, it was a 13-day job. And I came in on day 3. And 7 months after we wrapped, we had no idea what we had at the time, but 7 or 8 months or 9 months after we wrapped the pilot, it got picked up to series, and we shot another 12 episodes. And then we had no idea, because the show aired, and we had no idea it was going to be any good. HBO liked it enough to bring us in for a second season. And while we were filming the second season, the first season hit the air, and that's when
Yeah, nice.
I got my first Emmy nomination, which is like very heady, experience. Very exciting. I went on to get 5 more nominations. I haven't won, but, I got a bunch of CAS, the Cinema Audio Society nods. One for the first season for Sopranos, and actually just got nominated for this Mike Tyson one-man show that was on HBO recently. Anyway, So that's kind of how I got started. Is that too long-winded?
No. It's fantastic, and it's
Yeah.
amazing just how people get their kind of just breaks in terms of like you just happen to be right place, right time. It always seems because there's so many projects going. It's it's
Yeah.
mad.
And I think about it. I think about some of my peers who are out there who are just at the right place at the right time. If you read Cinema Audio Society, are you familiar with the CAS?
Yeah.
That's the U.S. It's not like BAFTA. That's a little different, but it's kind of like BAFTA. I guess it's no. Do you guys have a sound guild over there?
Yeah, it's we have IPS, we have
AMPS, you guys?
amps, yeah,
AMPS.
AMPSE, or
Whatever, something like that.
I
Anyway,
know that's America as well. There's a few kicking about.
in the current issue, they do a quarterly magazine. There's an interview with David McMillan, who is getting their honor, like they do an honorary thing every year for people, a career achievement award every year. And there's a big interview with him. I highly recommend. It's probably online at their website, cinemaudiosociety.org. And he talks about how he was doing this and that, and then he wound up being in San Francisco in 1968. And somebody, I think, introduced him to somebody who wound up working with Coppola.
Right.
You know,
Wow.
and Zoetrope and stuff like that, because he was at the right place at the right time. So,
Yeah. Fantastic.
but, and I've done a bunch of movies and way more TV than I would ever want to admit to.
Yeah, I did check out your interview.
Get a little pigeonholed, and I haven't done a movie since, David Chase, who created The Sopranos, did a movie called Not Fade Away, which was a lot of fun, but that was 3 or 4 years ago. I haven't done a movie in 3 or 4 years now because I've been doing The Following for Fox, which I know Eric's over there, and that's 7 months out of the year. And I did a series called Flesh and Bone for Stars, which won't air till November, even though we filmed it over a year ago.
Wow.
About ballerinas, that was interesting. I took that project over from Billy Sorokin, who likes to go out to New Mexico to do films. You know him? You know Billy?
It rings a bell, the name.
He's a big Zaxcom guy. If you IMDb interviews people, you'll go, oh, okay.
Yeah. Again, it's like forum names and everything like that. You're like, I know that name, but
yeah, he's very well regarded. Very nice guy, great mixer.
No, fantastic. And what sort of equipment are you running now for like TV setups?
Well, right now I've been running. My latest is I have a Diva 16 and a Mix 12. I really like the Zaxxon nonlinear stuff, partly because back in 2001 I did a movie called Kate and Leopold, and I had been running the Nagra. Sopranos was all 2-track Nagra.
Wow.
Let's see, we started filming in 1997 and wrapped the series in 2007.
Wow.
So I guess in 2001, I picked up the first Diva, the Diva 2, which was a 4-track recorder, and I picked it up for the movie because there was all this overlapping dialogue. There was no way to mix it, so I convinced the producers that by having 4 tracks, it's going to give them so much flexibility in post, and Meg Ryan was always improvising and stuff like that. So they actually bumped my kit rental up a substantial amount for the rest of the show, which kind of subsidized me getting the Diva, and that's my first nonlinear recorder. Then I incorporated that into my Sopranos workflow. And they still wanted the Nagra as the primary, so I would use the Diva 2 for additional tracks. I record a mono track onto 1 track, and then I'd have 3 more. And sometimes they use them, sometimes they wouldn't. They really liked the sound of the Nagra until I finally convinced them that, in fact, Diva sounded as good, if not better. I became pretty much a bona fide digital fan early on. I know everyone talks about analog this and the warmth of analog, but when you really listen, there's something to be said for it, but I like the purity of digital, especially now that we went to 24-bit. Nagra, everything was 16-bit for quite a while, so
right.
Work was 16-bit. So at that point, you could hear it in the low levels, maybe a little more noise, and it didn't really capture the signals much because it was only 16-bit, not 24.
Yeah.
24-bit, I noticed the clarity and the lack of warmth, which I ascribe to tape being inaccurate as a format. That it was colored. Is the phrase I want to use. It colored the sound in a way that 24-bit digital doesn't. And I've could be blasphemous by saying all that. I know a lot of people find it. And listening to music might be different in some ways. You know, I understand the lure of vinyl, although frankly I think it's way over fetishized at this point.
Well, yeah.
Although on the other hand, you know, CDs are endlessly mired in a 44-1 16-bit world. So I mean, you know, but the dialogue recording on location for film, 24-bit. You know, I know some people like 96K and all that stuff instead of 48. I'm like, don't need it. You'll never hear it.
Yeah.
But so I had a Diva 2, and then I had a Diva 5.8, but I wanted more tracks. And then with a Cameo, I had the previous mixer from Saxcom, which was a real board that had ins and outs and had this beautiful plasma screen, and it was really comfortable and it interfaced very well with the Diva. And then I was in a tent for about 12 hours in a rainstorm, and it destroyed the equipment. So production dropped a healthy dime, and I wound up with a Mix 12 and a Diva 16.
Wow.
And then Fusion 12 also, because I got tired of taking everything apart to get my Diva off my cart to do running shots. And also as a backup. That was the one downside to you know, the Diva Mix 12. If the Mix 12 goes down, I don't have a mixer. And then we had a bitter cold winter. I don't think it was as cold there as it was here, but we had a bitter cold winter, and there were 2 mornings after the equipment had been living on the truck all night where the Diva and the Mix 12 would not communicate. It was really scary. It was really scary. I wound up taking the Mix 12 out of line. Fortunately for the Diva, the 16's got the 8 pots on it. You know, the little knobs of the machine, but I was able to mix the scene because all the ins and outs go into the Diva. So basically I did it. It was only 2 hours in the boom, so it wasn't.
Okay.
It's not the same as linear faders. You know?
Yeah.
But anyway, I still have I have these audio limited 2000 radio mics, which are probably about 20, 25 years old at this point.
Wow.
I've changed frequencies a couple of times because of US FCC regulations.
Yeah.
Which I got my license finally a year ago. Well, it frees you up in terms of locking down frequencies in certain areas. You could say, I need these frequencies because I'm working here, because I'm licensed, I can use it. But it's only against up-and-coming consumer devices that are internet-based, and they're not really a threat yet. So it's nice to have the license, but not a big threat.
Yeah.
I run my audio limiteds. They're big, you know, they're not Dax.
Yeah, not the mini. Yeah.
What's that new Electro, the SM, what's it called?
Oh, SSM.
The SSM.
Yeah,
it's like
that.
Come on. You can't even, I'll drop it. I'll lose it. I'll put it in I'll put it in the wash. I love audios, though. I've never liked Electros. I know everyone uses them. They're cheaper and they're reliable. But sound-wise, I've always found they compress a little much. I find the audio limiteds just sound so beefy. And so
right.
So I'm sticking with them. Actors complain sometimes, you know, because of the size of the pack. They go, you know, they look at it and go, are you kidding me? What? It is big. So I picked up a couple of Zaxcoms, the TRX 900s.
Nice.
They run on the CR123 batteries, the little fat round ones.
Okay.
Those. It's not the newer one with that will take like a AA or rechargeable. It's a different kind of battery.
Right. Okay.
So two of those transmitters, the recording transmitters with the SD cards. So that comes in really handy. I've used them when I've had to put, you know, small packs on people, and certainly for driving stuff, we've done a fair amount of free drive. Let's say you put somebody in a sports car on the phone. And on him. I slap his Zaxcom on it, hit record, and pull the card when they get back, transfer it over, and send it over to post, and it works out really well. What I love about the CMIT is that there's a richness to it, you know. Yes, it doesn't. I think the 416 rejects more than the CMIT. I think the CMIT is a slightly more open pattern. I remember doing a scene in a tenement hallway. It was all like tile and hard floors and there's angles. And I didn't have, this is before the CMIT, but I tried my 81s. I tried the 41s. Tried something else also. And then I brought out the 416, and nothing sounded as good. You know, the 416 sounded better than anything because it is so unforgiving. When you get it in the right place, it actually worked out really well.
Yeah.
I guess because I'm mostly cart-based, almost entirely cart-based, and we do so much wiring. When I get into noisy situations, I we tend to wire.
Yeah.
You know, so instead of having a mic like the super CMIT, I just mix the wires and the boom and my CMIT and try to make it work. And I also count a lot on isotope.
Yeah. No, I mean that's amazing as well.
That I want to learn more about. I'm going to get in touch with a post friend, and I want to, if he uses it, I'm sure he probably does, and I want to go down and visit him, and I want to see it in action.
No, yeah. I've used it as well because I do some like post work on some of the features that I actually record on.
Oh,
mainly. Yeah. Because I found that, well, because I worked on it, I kind of know that it's kind of good. I like in film school, it was that kind of thing of like, okay, I'll fix my own mistakes, but if it's someone else's mistakes, then good. So, but yeah, no, RX3 is like, it's unbelievable in terms of just taking out, like de-click and de-crackle everything, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Yeah, now there's RX4 is out now, right? Yeah,
man. There's still, I think, wait, what day are we on? So tomorrow, there's an offer, you can save like $450. So if you get it before tomorrow, if you get it on the 23rd, you save like $500 as well.
How much is the software in general?
For the advanced is 1,150.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's going down to like $750 until tomorrow.
Well, since I don't do post for a living, that's a little more than I want to spend.
Yeah, no, completely.
I wonder if they have a sample like suite where maybe you can play with the.
I think you might be able to get a trial.
Maybe not save a project, that kind of a thing. You know, where it's like restricted or limited.
I'm sure you can get a trial. You must be able to get a trial, at least of like the basic package. I forget the kind of differences as well between advanced and basic. I think there's like, I don't know, you just get more plugins, I guess. But yeah, I definitely check it out in terms of dialogue denoising as well. Yeah, really.
I have the entire season of the following season 3 on my laptop. Because at the end of the day, I dump my files to my laptop as a backup, and so I haven't deleted all yet. So I have all 15 episodes, beginning to end, all the tracks. So I have lots of material to work with if I wanted to play with isotope.
Yeah.
Let's see. Now, what else am I working with? So, yeah, I use my 41s when I get a chance. It's really about the CMIT. I use that for almost everything.
Yeah.
Because it works close, and you get the range from it as well. Radio mic wise, we went over my audios, my Zaxcom. Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, nice.
I try to keep it as simple. I don't have like millions of microphones. I like my Sonotrims for my radio mics mostly.
Okay, wow.
And I use the Cos 11s, mostly in ties.
Okay.
On the following, we have a lot of FBI agents and cops and stuff like that, so they come in really handy.
Nice. I haven't used the Sonotrims before. What made you choose those? I've heard of Cos 11s. I haven't really heard about Sonotrims.
Oh, really? Maybe they're not used so much over there. I know DPAs are getting popular.
Yeah, DPAs and Sanken in Europe. Yeah, that's.
Yeah, the DPA is maybe it's not as expensive there as it is here, but a DPA lav is about $100 more than every other lav in this case. And like, frankly, it doesn't sound $100 better to me. But I bought one and I use it on occasion, but not super blown away by it. The Sonotrims are flat. They're flat and they're rectangular. And they got a front-facing diaphragm.
Yeah.
But it's a nice size, so it's very open, rich, and it's easy to hide like between buttons because it's not round. It lays pretty flat. And they have pins as vampire pins, with the 2 pins.
Yeah.
So we use those a lot in sweaters and the ribbing up top, in between shirts,
right?
In between the buttons, on a man's shirt, all over the place. We'll even take some medical tape, and if a man's not hairy, and he's got defined pecs, you can
always helps.
Right between there, and boy, does it sound great! And I find it mixes so well with the CMIT that
right.
Happy. I mean, I can grab one if you want to give me a minute. I can bring it back, but
I think they sound very similar to trams.
Well, that's the thing. You know, I used to use
Yeah.
trims, and they're basically they're the same shape, same form
Yeah,
factor.
yeah,
So if you know that, then you know what I'm talking about.
yeah.
But
Yeah,
the
yeah,
trims are a little crisper in. God, I forget where the boost is, and it's a nice boost because it really makes a difference when you're hiding stuff. You know,
Nice.
under clothing and stuff like that. I really think it helps. So that's what I use, but it's basically a crispy trim.
Nice,
And
nice.
for years, I said, "Oh, I can do the trim. I can create that EQ that they do on the mic, and I'd rather have another mic." But then when I started using them on a regular basis, as opposed to the trims, I like them a lot better.
Nice.
But I like a really open sound. I like a very crisp sound, very full and rich. I don't sweat background noise too much. Not as much as I used to. We had a scene on The Following recently that we shot by the downflow of a dam.
Nice.
And it was just like a waterfall, this big climactic scene.
Yeah.
And you saw it there, and I'm like, the actors were yelling at each other 15 feet apart, big thing, guns, and the whole thing. And
Yeah, for sure now.
and all that, and it was good. They sounded great. I use B6s also, but I find they don't handle the level, you know. Like
Okay.
I've been in scenes where people've been yelling, and
Yeah.
it just kind of gets a little distorted. And I try tuning the transmitter and my preamps, and it's the mic itself.
Right.
So Sonotrim's mostly is my first mic, but I use Sankins and the B6s as well.
Nice.
What about yourself, basically?
Yeah. I've got like half COS 11s and half DPAs, but the 7.1, it's like the 4-row 7.1.
Yeah.
So it's kind of got a presence boost, so it's better for like hiding under clothes.
Oh, nice. The 471. You know, I'm not even sure which one I have.
Yeah, maybe you have the 60, the 460. Yeah.
I might have that.
But yeah, I find that generally good. But I have a bit of both because obviously when you need to tie clip or something for like corporate stuff, then you use the Sankins instead, because if you use the DPAs, because of that presence boost, it just sounds a bit too thin. So
you put the Sankins right in the notch, or you just pin them on and see them? Do you hide them?
Sometimes depends what it's kind of doing. If it's like Q&A type stuff and people are just going all over mental. Yeah. And then for narrative stuff, obviously like hide it. I really like the DPA kind of concealers and stuff, and a lot of people have started doing like more kind of 3D printing meshes to make stuff.
So there's a way to oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, so it's kind of like a flat disc, and then it kind of just has a little bump, and you can just slot the mic straight in.
Flat disc and a little. Are you talking about the Sankin, or are you talking about the
DPA?
Oh.
Yeah, I use RM11s for Sankins.
Oh, yes, I use those all the time. I swear by them. Yeah. Oh, I'm just looking now. I have a 4071 DPA.
Okay, yeah. So that's what I have.
Yeah. So. Oh well.
Yeah.
And maybe it's what happened was, you know, the black kind of grill area.
Yeah.
Kind of came off.
Yeah, man. Mine did recently as well.
And it's just in regular use, and I'm like, are you kidding me? Yeah. And I didn't know what to do, so I kind of took a very thin piece of like black moleskin, and I kind of went around it because I figured that might help the clothing too if you're going to wrap it with something.
Yeah.
But it's just, I don't get it, and I don't know if it affects the sound, if it's just wind protection, or if it actually molds the quality of the sound.
Yeah, I think it must kind of mold the quality of the sound as well. Something happened to me as well. Just like someone took their mic off, and like it was just like, what? Where's the okay? So I can't use that anymore.
A little gold piece of metal sticking up out of the
So I need to fix that. But no, it'd be interesting to look at some more, because I'm trying to line everything up now. Because at the start, I just started kind of buying whatever was kind of best, but I kind of want to fit all my stuff. So it's like definitely with kind of the shops, kind of all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It kind of makes sense to have like uniform sound. So, and because I had DPAs like originally with shotguns, I was thinking, well, should I be matching my radios to my shotgun on my shotgun to my radios, and I was like, no, like 41 just sounds amazing. So yeah.
Yeah, I went through that for a long part of my career. I really tried, like I would start with an 82, a Neumann 82, and then I'd use the 81, and then I have these 84s, these cardioid mics they don't even make them anymore. They're actually worth a lot of money now. I have them, and it's just in beautiful shape. But now it's a cardioid one. So I would like stay within the same brand, thinking that it mattered. And then the more I did it, I was kind of like, it doesn't matter.
No, because it's completely different application. It doesn't matter at all. So, but I'm getting, because I have the Sankens as an option as well. That's always nice. I've always found them to be quite punchy, which is really nice. So yeah, so that's why.
Yeah, I find, like I said, I like the Sonotrims a lot because they're very bright and open.
Yeah,
and I do find the Sankens. I always have to EQ them a little bit, maybe because I have them in ties a lot.
Yeah, I find chives tricky, especially with Sankens.
But the RM11 really makes a difference.
Yeah. Do you not use that? Because they have kind of a round square one as well. I forget what mount it is or what name it is.
Other than a round square one?
It's obviously round in the center for the mic, but then it's just a fatter square. It's apparently for ties.
I've never heard of it or seen it. Yeah. Not an RM11, what, an RM12 or?
I think it's RM something maybe.
Well, that makes sense. Rubber mount, remote mount.
Yeah, rubber mount something. I think there's. I probably have one here actually. It's like.
Oh, back it up a little. Oh, look at that.
Well, there's loads of tape around it, but.
Yeah, I see that.
But yeah,
so kind of hollow in the middle, and it's just.
And then it's
square.
It's kind of thinner than because the RM11's a bit bigger.
I can see how that could work because it depends on the tie though. Sometimes it might make the knot a little too fatter. Depends on the wardrobe people.
Yeah, exactly.
Pretty slim, but at the same time, I can see how it could really help isolate it from the material because it's on either side.
No, it's good. But then it's still thin in the middle to get your mic in, and it's just because it's shorter. Because sometimes people have like ridiculously tight knots, and you're like, "Come on, do you want me to put it behind the tie? It's not gonna work."
I did a TV show called White Collar, and one of our lead actors always wore these really tiny little ties. So I would never put a Sanken in it. I put B6s in it.
Yeah. So that's where they come in handy.
Yeah, one good thing about the Big Six is that, you can poke it out a little bit. If you create that little divot, right in the knot, right below the knot, and then actually poke it right into it.
Nice.
And you never see it, and it helps a lot.
Oh, it sounds amazing.
But, sorry, my dog, my puppy, I have a puppy, and he's very sweet.
Cute.
That's Ollie.
Yeah, let's see. Hello! Oh, what are you eating?
Oh, what is that? Oh,
electrical
electrical tape. He'll eat anything. No, you can't have it now. No. I took it out of my bag. I didn't even realize he had it. I'm like, what are you doing? Anyway, so what do you have coming up? You have anything lined up? What are you doing next?
To be honest, I've been, I'm finishing doing post-production on 2 independent features.
Oh, good for you.
So that's they're kind of mixing. They're mixing this weekend actually, which should be quite good. And then
you do the editing as well as you do.
There's a few of us.
Do your own Foley work and everything.
Yes, no, it's not all just me, thank God. But I'm just kind of because I was on location for one. There's kind of a kind of collective that I kind of work with. Quite a lot, so I just kind of go in as like the super for it, just because because I know the director, I kind of know the story in by out, I know the dialogue still off by heart by that time as well. So
I would think it was a great idea, to do the production track and then go and do the post work too. I actually wanted to create a business called Street to Screen Sound,
nice.
A small like project studio. I never really followed up on it. But I thought it's a great plan because you can really have continuity.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's kind of what I wanted. I mean, it was half just trying to, because with some of these independent films, they like all sorts of stuff obviously goes wrong as soon as they get into post production. For some reason, it's just like, yeah, things just they go on ice, they blah blah blah. So, and it's usually when it was coming to like the sound mix, because some people were just they were just getting like students, they would just get people that had like, yeah, I'm kind of interested in sound, and you kind of feel like, well, you kind of spent all this time obviously paying people for the production, and then they try and save all their money by just not paying anyone and essentially just like wrecking their film. It's like it doesn't make any sense. So yeah, so when I go into features now, at least a couple of them, I'm just like, yeah, and I want to do at least oversee the post production as well, just because I don't want it, yeah, because it's my name on it as well, right? So and they're just like, oh, it's terrible. So
I'm mostly happy with post. I mean, it's been a few jobs I've actually heard that I mix, location mix, and then I went and listened to it and go, why did they do that? And
yeah,
why is the music so loud? And but I would say 98, 99% of the stuff, it's just, but it's at a different level. We're not talking like low budget indies. We're talking broadcast network and stuff like that. So
no, exactly. People know their stuff. And even I've done some stuff that's gone to like deluxe for even just like I've done the editing and they've done the mixing type thing as well. So, and that kind of works out sometimes as well. But I guess I'm a bit OCD as well, just like on set. It's just like I want to do everything. So
it's a big time commitment.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. That's why to be honest, I'm getting a bit sick of it at the moment because I'm doing two at once. It's just like, swapping hats all the time and then trying to, do the day job as well. So, but for now, because of that gap, now I'm just trying to get back to obviously doing more production stuff, especially now I've got all my new toys, but they're kind of, hopefully should have potentially about 5 kind of features potentially this year, in terms of like, again, like low budget stuff, but it's like,
that's how you get experience too, so that's okay.
So I'm kind of just trying to carve out my name into that really, and then obviously I just do loads of stuff on my website as well, constantly just trying to do all sorts of random stuff. So I keep really busy with work actually, but it's quite fun. So for now, it's just a random, I guess, interlude. Once this finishes, then a bit of a break, and then hopefully, everything should line up to see me into next year, which is kind of surprising.
And all those jobs inform each other. You learn something on one that you apply to something else, and you meet more people that may have done different things than you, and they'll help you along too.
Yeah, no, exactly. That's the biggest thing. It's just trying to build a general massive skill set of just things you can kind of pull out your hat and go, aha, I've been here before. Or this has gone wrong before, or someone's tried to do this before. So it's quite fun. But do you run with like 2 boom operators? What's your crew like? Is it?
Well, it's always a 3-person crew on the shows. So I have a primary boom op, and then my utility slash, we call the third, utility person. Yeah. And Allison, she also booms as well when we need it. The following is not a big 2-boom show. It's lucky half the time that we can get 1 boom in. A lot of wires. Although we boom a fair amount, I have to say, we do a fair amount of booming, more than you might think. But it's, like I said, not often we can get a second boom in there. Well, we do when we can, of course.
Yeah,
it works out pretty well.
And then for when you're mixing, are you just doing the boom slightly just for kind of context of stuff, or and then because it's majority wires? Or
it depends on obviously it depends on so many factors. If all things being equal, if it's not too noisy, the location, I will. Often the boom is about parity with both the wires or how many wires I have. I'll always mix boom in as much as I can get away with.
Yeah.
I will crank the boom as much as I can, obviously without losing clarity or punch on off the wires. I don't want to wash it out. And I have to watch out for phasing too, which is always tricky. But I play a lot of boom. really try to blend the booms and the wires so they don't sound like wires. I guess that's what we all do.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, pretty successful at it so far. My boom ops compliment me, so that's a good sign.
Yeah, yeah. That's awesome. And are you doing things, do you have time on like TV to like put down carpet, hide footsteps? I mean, to what extent are you doing to try and
Well,
limit stuff?
because we do, for example, on the following, we have this FBI set, this office set, and they put a lot of background in them with loud shoes. So we it's hard to carpet, you know, we do these wide shots that I find when you're laying down, when they're laying down the wide shot, when you need it the most, you can't use it. You're seeing the floor, and by the time you're in the close-ups and the mics are closer, the carpeting's not as critical, although you can certainly lay it down. We lay carpet where we can. We use a lot of foot foam.
Right, right.
Yeah. So that's kind of what we do. We quiet down. I let a certain amount go. You know, you worry yourself to death with all this stuff and all these noises, unless it's really seriously egregious. When I watch the show, I never hear it.
Yeah.
I never concentrate on it. It's very rare. But maybe that's me. Other people go, oh my God, I couldn't watch that scene. It's like all I heard was that person's footsteps. But it's usually someone who was there at the time and remembers it, you know.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
You really focus on. You know, I'll watch a TV show, and TV sounds so much better than it ever used to, but I'll go, oh my God, that was a really poorly mixed radio. You know, sometimes you just really hear it, or just very scratchy, and they got to somehow let it go, or every once in a while you know that they take the wrong take and they could have used a better version of it.
Ouch, yeah.
So, not too much. But the following's been great. I talk to the post guys a lot, and they really dig deep to all the ISO tracks to pull out what they can. And every once in a while, I'll ask our actors, how's looping going? You know, are they doing a lot of it? Because I like to know. And they're all coming back and going, no, I looped one line in 3 episodes.
Nice, man. Wow.
Kevin Bacon, our principal, you know,
Yeah.
they'll give him extra lines, you know, like the additional dialogue that they'll lay in and post and all that stuff, and he'll have to do 1 or 2 of those. And they do a lot of what they call B&E, breathing and efforts.
Right. Yeah.
There's a lot of fighting and running and chase.
Yeah.
So what we call B&E, and there, because of that, once I found that out, I sometimes wire him, even when there's no dialogue, just for that.
Nice.
So he doesn't have to go into the studio and do all this, you know, breathing.
Yeah, yeah, breath and effort.
Yeah.
Amazing. And is it kind of the same with, are you getting like room tone, or are you just like...
Room tone. Ha!
Yeah.
I haven't gotten room tone since 1968. No, room tone's fine. Once in a while we get it. And we only... I only tend to get room tone if it's a really specific weird thing. Like we were shooting in an industrial space, and there was this one machine that was so kind of weird, and we couldn't do anything about it. And so that kind of stuff, because, you know, post-production is not going to be able to...
Yeah, add in the weird machine, yeah.
Yeah, so we give them a nice, like, you know, loop of that so they can maybe lay it in somehow, play with it, and make it work, clean it up. But general, like, ambiences, no. You know, and I find with the digital tools, from what I hear from post people, and you can answer me, tell me if I'm right or not, they can take like a 5-second section and just create an ambience from that now.
Yeah, yeah. No, definitely if it's like clean, it's good.
Yeah, it's like the idea of getting everyone to stop on a film set for 30 seconds to do tone, it's laughable.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, they don't even take time to rehearse before we shoot.
That's very true, yeah.
You know, so to stop a room tone, it's like, I said, can we wire them before we shoot, before we rehearse? But they bring them in, they block them, and then they send them to wardrobe, and they kind of do the rehearsal for camera, everything. Then they bring them to be wired, and then they go on set and we roll.
All right. You just
like, do I get a rehearsal too? And sometimes, but I've learned that on the wide shots, it is what it is. If it's no good, it's no good. You know, you don't want to give me rehearsal, you're going to get what you're going to get. That's fine. And I've gotten really good at nailing it on the first take. Although on the second or third take, I start overthinking it.
Yeah.
When I'm not thinking about it, it tends to just fly off my fingers, and it works out pretty well. Not always. But, and then for the second, well, you know, he could be a little hotter on that line, or, you know, maybe I crisp him up a little because he turned his head there and that kind of a thing. And then I do the mix. I'm like, oh, I like the first take better. Should have left it alone. So.
No, fantastic.
But yeah.
No, it's really cool. I mean, that's pretty much all I had to say, really. I mean, we've been going for over an hour.
The big issue I find, certainly in TV, is you are fighting, to give them what they need for their show. And it's like they're doing you a favor by accommodating you.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like they say, this one's for sound, oh, we're going to go again. We're going to do this one for you. I'm like, well, no, it's not really for me, because
I can go home and
I would go home. It's like, it's your show.
Yeah.
It's your show. So it's pretty fun. It's pretty funny that way, It's like they say, okay, we got to go again for sound, and I'll go, no, it wasn't a sound problem; it was a noise problem.
Yeah, exactly. Location issue.
Location issue was a noise issue. Sound was fine. I was fine. The plane was a problem, but I was fine personally. I'll say that is when we go with the plane. I said, because we really got to go. I said it's going to be the best sounding plane you've ever heard.
Yeah, it's going to be online.
I said, all right, let's wait on the plane.
Yeah.
So you gotta approach it with as much humor as you can. But
definitely.
It weighs you down.
Yeah. I mean, you got to remember that it's like 75% social, basically. Just because if you get everyone again, like Simon Hayes and stuff, if you can get people on, if you can, you have all the time, the resources, the people, the equipment. I mean, there's no excuse kind of not to, is it? So this is kind of getting there.
I find a big issue to be the directors themselves. A lot of younger directors, not as experienced perhaps, just want to get their shots, are all enamored with the 3 cameras they have rolling at once.
Yeah.
I remember doing just pickup shots with M. Night Shyamalan, right?
Right.
Movie The Village, and I got to do it. It's a 3-day, they reshot the ending of the movie The Village. And there was a scene, and Joaquin Phoenix is in his bed. I think he was dying or resting, or I don't remember. Anyway, he had one line of dialogue, and we were in these cabins that they had built for the set. And it was pouring out, and it was really loud. And we waited an hour and a half, almost 2 hours, because the rain was so loud, and Knight didn't want to loop it.
Yeah. Wow. Amazing.
And I'm like, I said to him, I'm the last person to say this, because I'm obviously here for production sound. And, but we could get a lot of variations on this. You can lay it in and all the rest of that. And I said, absolutely not. We're going to get it.
Gonna get it as is.
I'm like, I love you, man.
Yeah.
And we all appreciate that. David Chase, the same way, he's very, very big on sound. So it was always a pleasure working with him. I did all the second unit work for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh, yeah.
A couple years ago. And because they were actors in these shells that were basically pillows, and they had dots all over them, we just put Sankins, we just Velcroed them right to the chest.
Yeah.
And they replaced the whole thing, and it was like, God, it's like it's so easy, And us in the trenches in these dialogue films, we were doing our best and giving them pristine dialogue, and now these guys are doing these effects where you can put a mic anywhere you want, and they get painted out and they get all the awards,
Yeah, exactly.
That's why I give a lot of credit to I'm so blanking on his name right now, who did Birdman. Tom Barker.
Yeah.
That was such an incredible sound job.
Yeah, how did that not? I don't know how that didn't win any awards for that.
Well, I know. Well, I think he won the CAS for it.
Yeah, he should.
And he got nominated for an Academy Award, and a BAFTA too. I know Whiplash won for sound for the Academy Award. And that was quite a job too, with all that music.
Yeah, that's true.
And back and forth and all that drumming and stuff. I mean, that's intense. That's intense to do because, you can't see the mics. There's no mics anywhere. So that's a very challenging job. But I was just reading about Birdman today that they had a month of rehearsals. They shot the rehearsals with second team actors and all that. Then they had a week of rehearsals with the actors. So by the time they were ready to go into it, they knew this is what we're doing here, and this is here, and this is what's going to happen, and we're going to hand over a boom from this, and this boom operator is going to run around to the next eavesdrop that and this and that, and they had the chance to really work it out. So it's really amazing what you can do with the right amount of prep. It's just phenomenal.
If they shot some behind the scenes, it would be phenomenal to just see a behind the scenes take of Birdman. That would be the whole film.
There's one online somewhere. I think on YouTube. There's,
Oh,
I don't know if we see the Steadicam guy or walking through the halls or what, but
amazing. I'm going to look that up.
yeah, it might be on YouTube. I'm not sure, but I did see one behind the scenes shots. I'm not quite sure how you would do a search for it, maybe making a Birdman or something like that. It's got the behind the scenes footage of it somewhere.
Nice. Oh, it'd be amazing.
So
Yeah.
it's great, you know.
So, what type of prep what type of prep do you do for a show? Is it just a case of you're reading the script and just, I mean, you're obviously just given a location, given the actors in the scene, and is it just on the day? Is it
when you're in a TV series for a few seasons? It's pretty standard. You know, you go back to some of the same locations. They have some of the same sets built. You know the actors. You know their voices. They don't even take you on a scout.
right? Yeah.
Sopranos was funny. They would take me on the scout one day for the first episode of the season, and then never take me on another scout. I'm like, okay. Even movies now, they don't want to pay for the 2 or 3 days for a mixer to go on a location scout. It's just absurd. So you don't know, a lot of times, certainly for a TV show or a pilot, you walk in a situation, you have no idea what you're going to
encounter.
Up against. I read a great quote. Once again, CAS Quarterly. If you haven't read it, you can probably read it. It's awesome. And Sound and Picture Magazine also. This last issue, they talk to Tom about Birdman. They talk about Interstellar, and they interview the production mixers, which is the only magazine that does it. You know, I figure I learned so much from these other guys talking to my peers, because everyone's got little challenges.
Yeah.
Like for instance, one time I heard they were shooting, they said a big dinner scene in a big room with like a cupola over the top, a big dome, and it had a weird sound, you know. So the mixer took a bunch of white balloons and filled them with helium and floated them into the thing, so they would infect the lighting, and it totally broke up the space. I'm like, that's a great idea. That's a great idea, and stuff like that. But prep-wise, 2 of the films I did were big music films. I did some Notorious about.
And do you Stomp as well? Was it?
No, I did not do Stomp.
Oh no, Step Up.
I did Step Up 3D.
Yeah, that was
a little different because that was all playback. You know, that was all for dance stuff. There's no like singing and vocals and stuff like that. That was more about finding the venues and getting massive playback systems and bringing in people to work with that. And we're figuring out the cues.
Yeah.
You know, on a set in the States, and a union set, you know, if you have any serious amount of music, you're going to have somebody taking care of that. So it's really about bringing in the right person and interfacing with them. Nice. The camera's all askew. I'm moving back. There's a Pro Tools guy in New York named Jason Station who's just like, he was a recording engineer in music world. Did a lot of big acts, and they started going to his studio with film projects, doing pre-record prepping for playback. So eventually the mixer, I forget which one, said, hey, why don't you come into the field and do all the playback? You know the track's as good as anyone. So now he's does location work more than studio work. And he's just phenomenal. But for Notorious, I did a lot of prep because I read the script over. I thought about what they wanted to do because it was a biopic, and they were talking about straight playback. And I really like to advocate and push for vocals being recorded live, not instrumentals. And then they were talking about using playback from the original Notorious B.I.G., Biggie Smalls, as what we hear, and he'll just lip sync to it. And I'm like, you know, there's a lot of words to lip sync to. You know, it's not like a verse, chorus, bridge, verse.
It's just go.
And also you have to think about that. An actor is acting and then rapping, the voice isn't going to be much different. It's not like these, like you hear the Beatles musically, and it's like, then you hear them talk, and they were like, oh my God, they're British.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, a big difference in people singing and talking sometimes. You can't usually hear an accent. Or often. Depends on the artist, of course.
Yeah.
But when it comes to raps, so that was a big thing. I had to plan it out. I had to think about it. I read through the script, break down all the musical spots. What are we going to do? Is this going to be playback? Can we do this part live? small venue? Is it a large venue? That kind of thing. So it was really, and not to fade away, David Chase's film, we had like 50 music cues. So, and we had stuff with the band practicing, and some guy in his room just playing guitar, and all kinds of stuff like that, and figuring out where to do it. For that kind of stuff, definitely prep.
Yeah.
For basically dialogue-driven films, not so much. More scouting, knowing your locations if you get a chance to do it.
Yeah, see where you're up against.
Yeah, Notorious was interesting. We did a big concert scene where I had 4 or 5 live mics on stage. They wound up using 98% of the production tracks. They wound up using no playback at all.
Wow.
They were so good. And but I had live mics on stage. I had a boom. I had a Pro Tools guy feeding me. I had to feed back to him to re-record into the session or to do playback. I had to feed to the front of house guys so they could feed the monitors for the stage for the rappers on stage. And I also needed to do a full mono mix and then a separate vocal only mix, so they can put maybe just the live vocals and lay it into the Pro Tools instrumental playback, that kind of stuff. So I had my old Cameo board and my Diva 5.8 where I had 10 tracks recording, and I had to really think about how I was going to fit it all and make it work and all the rest of that. So I do actually schematics. This is inputs, this is the time code, this is feeding here, this is coming in, and it was really, really elaborate, but it's great to be able to lay it all out.
Yeah, and then it must be so great when you can just land, and then it's just the plan, and then it just all works, and it's just.
Oh yeah, sure.
Gosh.
Yeah, it's exactly like you planned it every time.
Yeah.
No, it did work out pretty well. But I was going to say, to backtrack, in CAS Quarterly, there's an interview with. There's an article about mentoring and how important it is to mentor people, and to share and to pay it forward, as it were. And they interviewed, I think it was Mark Ulano, he's kind of legendary in his own way. And he said something which I really liked that I pulled out. I don't have it right in front of me. Something about how we're session players, that we show up and we bring all our tools and we don't know what we're going to play though. Yeah. But we got to be able to sit right in and sight read it as it happens and make it work. And that's totally paraphrasing, but I really like that.
Yeah, yeah.
As a location person, I think that's a great thing.
Yeah. I think it's just another reason why I love location as opposed to kind of post-production work, because it kind of feels like it's just completely different every time. And I know it's kind of the same in, I guess, post-production, but I think your environment is kind of the same. I think quite a lot of things are exactly the same. Whereas it's like turning up, you're just turning up with a gun and then you have to shoot your way out the forest. So
I feel like that a lot.
Yeah.
It does feel like that a lot. But there's 3 ways to mic. You either hide a mic, you wire somebody, or you boom it. It's really only 3 variations on that.
Yeah. That's true. It's true.
But it's how you work it. Sometimes we'll do all 3. When you're not sure how it's going to work out, you throw the kitchen sink at it, and you throw the pasta at the wall, and you hope something sticks.
Yeah, exactly.
But anyway, so
no, fantastic. Well, I think that's a perfect time to kind of wrap it up, really.
Okay.
But yeah, no, really, really interesting.